Welcome to today's explainer. Right off the bat, I want you to imagine asking a friend a specific question. They honestly have no idea what the answer is, but instead of just admitting that, they look you dead in the eye and invent a completely fabricated response with absolute unwavering confidence. Wild, right? Well, in the world of artificial intelligence, this exact thing happens all the time. Today, we're decoding exactly what goes on when AI acts like that overly confident friend. It's a phenomenon experts call AI hallucinations, and trust me, it's something we all need to understand. To see how this actually works in practice, let's start with a quick test. Look at this question. Who invented the smartphone in 2015? Now, as a human, you'd instantly spot the flawed premise here. We all know smartphones existed way before 2015. But what happens when you feed a factually flawed, kind of trick trivia question like this into an AI system? Okay, let's dive into this, because the response is just fascinating. Instead of correcting your premise, the AI spits out this exact quote. John Smith invented the smartphone in 2015. It doesn't even hesitate. It gives you a highly specific name, John Smith, and confidently repeats your incorrect year right back to you. The answer sounds incredibly confident, grammatically flawless, and completely authoritative. The only problem? It's a total fabrication. John Smith doesn't exist in this context. There's literally zero truth to it. So this brings us to our core definition, an AI hallucination. Basically, it happens when an AI system creates information that sounds entirely believable but is actually wrong, misleading, or just made up out of thin air. And honestly, that phrase right there, sounds believable, that is where the true danger lies. If an AI just spit out a jumble of random letters, we'd instantly know it was broken. No harm done. But a hallucination? It actively disguises fiction as fact by packaging it in this perfect, confident language. Moving on to Section 2, Under the Hood. Let's look at exactly why AI makes things up rather than just telling the truth. Let's lift the curtain a bit without getting bogged down in computer science jargon. The fundamental difference here lies in how information is processed. When we humans think, we rely on a deep, actual understanding of facts, history, and real-world context. AI, on the other hand, well, it's essentially a massive prediction engine. It doesn't actually understand facts. Instead, it just predicts which words are most likely to come next based on the massive amounts of text patterns it absorbed during its training. Think of it like a highly advanced, super smart version of the autocomplete on your phone. It's not retrieving truth from some locked vault of knowledge. It's literally just calculating probabilities in a sequence. So, what exactly triggers these prediction errors? It generally boils down to 5 specific culprits. First up, missing information. If the AI simply doesn't know the answer, its strict mandate to predict the next word literally forces it to guess. Second, confusing similar facts. It might seamlessly blend details from 2 totally different historical figures into one fictional person. Third, outdated information. Its knowledge is permanently tied to whenever its training data was cut off. Fourth, poorly written sources. It scrapes the internet, and we all know how reliable that can be, right? And fifth, ambiguous questions. If your prompt is unclear, the AI just fills in the blanks, and often it gets it wrong. Now let's look at Section 3, the real-world stakes, or what happens when these technology glitches cause actual harm. And this brilliantly illustrates why we need to pay close attention. If you use AI for school papers or professional research, this is exactly why you need to be careful. These risks span across nearly every aspect of our lives, and the consequences can be severe. In medicine, relying on a hallucination could mean confident but entirely wrong treatment advice. In the legal world, and this is a chilling reality, folks, lawyers have actually been caught and sanctioned for citing AI-generated court cases that simply never existed. For businesses, executives risk making massive financial blunders based on fake market data. In academia, students are turning in essays with perfectly formatted but entirely fabricated historical quotes. And on a broader scale, these hallucinations are fueling the rapid spread of misinformation, making it harder and harder for all of us to separate fact from fiction. Let's pivot to Section 4, the Defense Manual. How to protect yourself from AI hallucinations in your daily life. It's time to equip you with some actionable safety habits. Your best defense strategy requires active skepticism. Number 1, always verify crucial facts against trusted traditional sources. Number 2, force the AI to show its work. Ask it for explicit citations and links. 3, never let an AI be your single point of failure. You've got to use multiple sources. 4, if an answer seems too perfect or maybe just slightly off, ask follow-up questions to probe its logic.
Honestly, just a little pushback often reveals the cracks in its reasoning. And number 5, this is absolutely crucial. For anything involving medical, legal, financial, or safety decisions, always step away from the keyboard and consult a qualified human expert. Which brings us to section 5, the golden rule. Think of AI as a smart autocomplete, not an all-knowing oracle. So the crucial point is this: trust to learn, but verify before you rely. It really is that simple. AI is an undeniable powerhouse. I mean, it's amazing for productivity, learning, and brainstorming, but it demands your active participation. Remember our core metaphor here. You have to be the editor, the fact-checker, and ultimately the final judge of what is actually accurate. Which brings us to our final thought to wrap up this explainer. Look, this technology is advancing so rapidly, it's becoming faster and infinitely more articulate every single day. So, the next time an AI gives you the absolutely perfect, beautifully written answer, will you know if it's the truth or just a really confident guess? I want you to keep that question in the back of your mind every time you log on. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and keep learning. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer.